peoples, how are you today? It's Friday, Friday the 13th. I'm about to take my spouse support check and go open up a savings account because I need to start saving that money. I've been not splurging it. I spend it because I get a certain amount, but a lot of people think, oh wow, that's how much you get. If I got it in like whole, it would be awesome, but I get it in I get a check once a week for it, so it's broken down. So that ends up being like my grocery money, my gas money, my whatever money, and I need to save that money. Like I do, because at the end of my 5-year alimony, like once it's done, if I save it, I'll have a good amount in the bank. So, okay, so I left off yesterday. My daughter was sick. She had stomach flu, so I went at my lunchtime to go visit her, make sure she was okay. I left off, you know, how I felt, how broken I was, how he basically had no compassion whatsoever about how I was feeling. He was very callous, very cold, very I don't care what you're going through, just get over it kind of attitude, which added more pain because I felt like, man, he can't even apologize. You know, I remember at one point when I was going through this and I didn't know about the girl in Mexico. I remember one day, I'm not kidding, okay? I was so hurt and so broken and so just over feeling the way I did that I wanted the truth. You know, sometimes all you want is the truth. Like, really, my friend and us, we lived about maybe a mile and a half from each other. How he wanted to convince me of how all it was phone conversations, it doesn't anger me. It doesn't upset me. It just shows me how dumb he thought I was. Because like I said, everything he did, in my eyes, oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure, yeah. Everything what? Shoot a gopher and I'll see an alligator? Yeah, for sure, because that's what you're saying. You know, so he was very calculated, very manipulative towards me. He can convince me that, you know, he can convince me of anything and everything with just one simple explanation. And I would be like, yeah, you're right. I was very naive, very trusting. So, like I said, you know, for 2 years, they spoke on the phone and supposedly, allegedly, nothing happened between us. But here she is calling him at 4 o'clock in the morning. And, I mean, when you wake up and the first thing on your mind is, I'm going to call my friend's husband, there's something there. I've never woken up and being like, hey, I'm going to go check up on my cousin's man, see what he's up to. Oh, sweet. 4:20 in the morning, like, no. You know, like, that just doesn't happen. So, emotionally, I think they were there. Physically, I know they were there. Like I said, I choose to pretend to believe that nothing happened. Like I said, it's just for my own peace of mind, for my own sanity, for just for me. But come on, I'm not dumb. So, I remember one day just being so broken and hurt and just, you don't understand. I'm pretty sure people who've been through this can completely relate to what I'm saying. It's like you're stabbed in the heart and your heart is like bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and there's nothing anybody could do to stop the bleeding or the pain. There's nobody who is gonna pull out that knife and fix it, because even if they did, there was still a lot of blood loss and a lot of hurt. A big ass hole. You know, so I was hurt to the point where one day I got in front of him and I dropped on my knees. I put my little hands together as in prayer, and I just said, please tell me the truth. If, you know, I was going through the call log and there's a calling card number that appears continuously. Please just take me out of my misery. Please, whatever your truth is, whatever it is you want to tell me, I promise you with all my heart and whatever is left of me that I will forgive you. And we can go on like nothing happened. Something clicked. He was the type of person who was very stern, and then as soon as something clicked, his whole face would change. And that's how I knew, like, okay, it's you know, processing. I saw that look on his face, and for a little bit I had like, yes, he's gonna tell me the truth. And all of a sudden he looks at me, it's like, you're fucking crazy, you're insane. Now that I look back at it, he was right. How dare I drop on my knees, as in asking and begging for forgiveness, when all I needed was a simple explanation and just a truth. But of course, he was above all that. So, of course, I never got the truth. I still haven't gotten the truth. All I've gotten is, we just talked. And that's how he's gonna do it. And you know what? That's just the type of person he is. You know? And it's okay. I'm over it. I don't need details. I don't need to know now. I need it then. Now, do boo-boo do you. Like I said, I thank her. I thank her now for opening my eyes, for allowing me to live another life, for allowing me to have a better life, for allowing me to now know the difference between this is how a man treats a real woman, and not this is how a fucking liar treats a side babe. You know, like, you know, did she think she was gonna keep on? Like, come on, people. So anyways, that was that. So we're gonna leave the friend aside for a little. How I found out was, like I said, you know, we coached soccer, and when you're not doing anything wrong, you don't think other people around you are doing wrong. So I was in charge of paying like all the little miscellaneous bills around the house, you know, like all the kids stuff, cleaning supplies, the groceries, the cell phone bill. When we got the cell phone bills, not the cell phone bills, when we got the cell phones, I remember telling him, you know what, honey, I'm so glad we got this for the kids and for us. You know, I'm kind of glad we're splurging. But, you know, I hear a lot of horror stories about cell phones and people cheating. So can we just please just be honest with ourselves and with each other? Oh, yeah, you know, I hate liars, of course, you know, whatever. We always had this thing, like, if you ever feel that you're unhappy or you need to move on, let's not drag it on. The end will be the end. Okay, so I was always in that belief that, you know, if something should go down, I would be the first to know it. So I would go in to pay the Verizon bill, but I never went through it because I didn't have a reason to. You know, I never was like, oh, I'm gonna check the call log. To be honest with you, I didn't even know there was a call log. I swear I didn't even know. I just thought it was the main page, go in there, pay, cool. So I did. That's exactly how I did it. I did it for almost 2 years like that. You know, just go in there, pay, get out. I would always notice, like, over on the minutes, and I would bring it up to him and be like, you know what? You keep going over. Oh, it's all those kids at soccer, you know, that they want to borrow my phone to call their parents to pick them up. And I would say, well, honey, you need to tell them that, you know, their parents know when practice is over, when the games are. So, yeah, you know, like, just let them know. Caesar was always very respectful towards the ladies. You know, he never really talked to anybody. He was always very to himself. She would, like I said in other videos, she would always ask me about him. Oh, your husband's so respectful. You're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. When I first met her, and she started always, like I said, when we would get together, she would always talk about her husband. I remember telling my husband, you know, just kind of stay away from her. She kind of gives me like a bad vibe. Now I understand that's what they mean by women's intuition. You know, my little antennas were up for some reason. I would once in a while let her borrow movies. Now that I look back on it, I was like, major red flags. Like I said, we only lived about 1.5 miles from each other. There'd be times where I would go grocery shopping. I would always take my kids. Always. My kids were like my companions, my buddies, my best friends. To this day, they, you know, wherever we go, when me and my boyfriend have movie night or game night, my kids are there. I don't have friends outside my children and my boyfriend. So, I would come home, and the movies I would let her borrow would be on the table. And I'd be like, did Marcella come? Oh yeah, she dropped off the movies. And I'd be like, that's weird. Like, but I never questioned it. Again, naive me. So, you know, I am paying the phone bill, and I don't know what triggered it, but I opened the call log, and I saw this number over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So I called it from my office at work, and I hear a Buena. Oh, I hung up right away. Naive me. I'm like, oh my god, it's one of his brothers work nights. I was like, oh my god, I just called his brother, his wife answered. Oh my god, no. Like, I started panicking. I thought, you know what? That's his brother. They're probably talking throughout the day. Whatever. I closed out the call log within like 2 minutes. She star 69 me. And there it is on my office phone. Her husband's name popped up, and that's when I felt all the blood in my body was drained out of my body. And that's how I found out. I ran into my boss's office, and I was like, oh my god, he's talking to my friend. She's like, what are you talking about? So I was shaking, I was white as a ghost, I was pale, I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how to react. I'm telling you, it was like somebody had like punched me over and over and over and over and over, and I was numb. Like, there was literally no thoughts going through my brain. It was just like, it's crazy. I can't even explain it. It was hardcore crazy. So, my boss is like, log into my computer. How long have they? I was like, what do you mean how long? She goes, girl, you could go back. I was like, I can? So, I don't even know. I think I gave her my login information. I just remember laying flat on my stomach in her office, and I turned off the lights, and I couldn't even breathe. Oh, I couldn't even breathe. And, she called Verizon. She said it was me. She had, because I think you could only go like 6 or 7 months, and she had them fax over for the past 3 years, which was how long I've had the cell phone or something like that. It was 2 years. I'm sorry, 2 years. There it was. She made copies and copies and copies. She made a copy for me, a copy for her husband, a copy for my husband, a copy for her. She highlighted everything. She goes, here, go handle, girl. Go handle. And that's how I found out. And that's that. Next video, the Mexico girl. So yeah, that's just closure on the friend. We're no longer going to talk about the friend. That's how I found out. And that's it. That's how I was hurting. That was my pain with her. Now, next video, we're gonna go in through the transition from how I felt with my friend to the girl in Mexico to the brief separation in 2009, the wonderful man I dated in 2009, me filing for divorce in 2010, how somehow, some way, my soon-to-be ex-husband, weaned his way back into my life in 2010, and how we renewed our vows in 2011 to today. So please keep watching and subscribe. Love you guys. Have an amazing, amazing weekend.